welcome to Podcast vs. Player, episode 266. I'm one of your hosts, Cal, and as always, I'm joined by a man who asked me where did Axl Rose get arthritis? In his knees.
I had no business being that funny.
I knew you'd like that one, so I
No
saved it till last.
business at all.
It's only bloody Dan.
Evening.
Good evening. We've jumped forward in time again, Dan.
Yeah, unfortunately, Callum, there was something that was so unbelievably important that we had to push the podcast forward a little bit this week, so apologies. Annoyingly so, because I feel, if anything, we should have pushed it back a little bit, because there's potentially some really interesting news that's going to come through on Thursday that we're not going to get a chance to talk about now until the following Monday, but... frankly, I'm too excited, so we got to do it, mate.
I can't not talk about it, Dan. So we're not even going to bullshit around the whole spectacle.
What it is.
It's obviously Deadpool 3, aka Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yes. Actually, I don't think it is called Deadpool 3. I think it is just called Deadpool and Wolverine.
That's why I said AKA.
Well, no, because it's been Deadpool 1, then Deadpool 2.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
Instead of Deadpool 3, it's Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
Although I'd feel it's a bit harsh on Cable. It's not Deadpool and Cable, Deadpool and Wolverine. It's just Cable's there. That's cool, isn't it? But the fact that they managed to secure Hugh Jackman, they're like, that's the big that's
yeah.
We just have to bang on about that. That's
gotta keep it.
That's the biggest draw. Yeah.
Did you see the tweet and Instagram thing Hugh Jackman put out earlier? He's taken
when he changed it.
Yeah, it's like Wolverine an asshole.
Yeah, brilliant.
But the highly anticipated trailer for Deadpool 3, aka Deadpool and Wolverine, premiered during a Super Bowl commercial break, offering fans a closer look at Wade Wilson's foray into the Marvel Cinematic Universe with his best friend Wolverine, as the pair catapult themselves into all manner of multiversal shenanigans for the forthcoming big screen adventure. Now, Dan, there was quite a few things. And now, I will say, this trailer's phenomenal. It's very good. Shall we jump across to it? Fuck it. I was going to save it.
Look, because simply, there's not many trailers these days, Marvel trailers. Pause it, Jesus. There's already things that I want to talk about.
Let me go back. There we go.
So, I think the only sort of Marvel film of late that I've been like, do you know what? That was actually really, really good, was Guardians. But I wasn't excited by the trailer for that by an extensive amount. I was just sort of like, yeah, it'd probably be good. It's James Gunn's kind of last hurrah. So maybe he sort of phoned it in, or maybe it'll be the best one he's done so far, which probably it is. But since then,
nothing.
not particularly. Like Spider-Man was kind of great.
Was that before or after Guardians?
No, that was before.
No,
like Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No Way
Home. Yeah. Actually, I don't know. I know Multiverse is what I was going to say. Sorry, that's what I was thinking of.
Multiverse is so Spider-Man. I actually can't remember now what the order.
Well, Spider-Man must have been after Multiverse. So, and the Guardians, it doesn't really make any difference because it doesn't sort of apply canonically.
Yeah, it has to be
any of those anyway.
Yeah.
So, Guardians, I think was the most I was surprised by. I was just like, oh, this is quite emotional. It's quite, well intended, and the villain again is just sort of a bit meh. But it was building towards something that now they're not going to be.
Yeah,
which kind of screwed the whole thing. The Marvels again, we watched that recently, but again, I wasn't overly impressed by the trailers. I did think it was going to be like, oh my god,
nah.
And I know I enjoyed it more than you did, but it was middling.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
It wasn't great,
but it was like this makes it sound way worse than it was because it's not a bad film, but it's compared to the rest of the MCU, especially highlights like Guardians and stuff. The Marvels was like a good episode of a CW superhero show.
No, I think if this had been a mini-series, if they instead of doing
Miss
Marvel, movie, they would have but if they'd done Miss Marvel and they'd had Photon as part of WandaVision, and then they got all of them together to do, I think it would have been a great mini-series. I would have been singing its praises, like, for a TV show, this is great. again, they could have stretched out a lot more of the elements that I kind of liked about it, like the Annihilator stuff, like all of that. You could have focused on a bit more, and it probably would have benefited from being a bit more of a miniseries.
But the planet where they all talk in song would have been a whole episode.
That's fine because I could skip that whole episode, so it doesn't matter. But this is the trailer for Deadpool and Wolverine. This is the first trailer. I was just like, oh, I think I'm actually going to have to go and see this at the cinema. Like, I'm going to have to, maybe not day one it, but
I'm day one.
As soon as I basically get the chance to see it, like there's too much that's going on in this that I can't afford to not or have it spoiled later on down the line by some fucking Instagram cunt. So let's have a little look. Let's have a little look at it, and because I've only watched this, I watched it twice yesterday. Once on my phone and once when I got home, and that's when I sent it over to you.
Yeah.
But let's have a little look together.
This is my fourth time.
Cool.
Just say when you want to stop or when you want to go back or anything else. I will say, I love
spectacular hair.
Yeah, the hair looks amazing.
Ken hair, absolutely. Also, pause there. No, go back. So, we've got Wade's birthday, right?
Yeah.
So, at his birthday, we've got his partner, we've got Blind Owl, we've got Bob, I think his name is. He's like the dude from the bar.
I think that's him, yeah.
With the beard on the right.
Yeah. Sorry, you can't see the mouse cursor. Sorry.
No.
Yeah, the one with the beard.
Yep, Dopinder is his taxi driver. But then we've also got Shatterstar.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he exploded in the last one. So why is he there?
Well, she's also dead. No, Morgan, I can't remember her real Morgan, but Bianca Renez? Her real name, the girl from Gotham, his missus.
Oh, it's Monica something or other. Yeah, I know who you mean.
Yeah,
her.
Yeah, she died. So
yeah, because there's like the whole death thing.
Yeah.
Which begs the question almost immediately, Callum. Is this the same Deadpool?
Well, no, because he's got the watch from Cable, hasn't he? So we can travel through. We can go to like different dimension stuff, which is why.
Which is why Bob's there.
Yeah. Because
he goes into a wood chipper or something, doesn't he?
Yeah. And then,
okay, so yeah, if we go on the assumption then that he went back in time and he saved Shatterstar and he shaved Bob. She didn't shave Bob.
Shaved Bob.
he saved. Maybe not. I can't remember what the dude. It's like Bob is the guy who is just. He was just the guy who turned up, wasn't it? For the X-Force auditions, or whatever it was.
Was it Rob? I know what you mean, though. He hasn't got any powers or anything.
With a moustache.
Yeah.
He was awesome.
You see a full-on shot of him in a second. But the only person that should be there, obviously we can see Supernova in the far right-hand side, just underneath the window bit, and Colossus. They're the only two that are still canonically alive.
Oh, that same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as we'll see, if we just let it just play until we get to it, the people at the door will be there because he's got the device. That's why they're going to show up. Because there's every possibility he's done a Rick and Morty, and he's killed the Wade Wilson in this universe and taken his place.
See, I disagree. I would say, if anything, he's used his time sliding watch, whatever, and he's gone back and he saved the people from the X-Force that he liked, or the ones that at least they would come back and do a cameo for the third film. And he's gone back, he's changed time in order to save them, and he's saved his girlfriend, and then it's his birthday, and he's like, oh my god, life's great, and then press play. Boop. And then it's birthday time, he opens the door, and there stands the fucking TVA, who are ready to prune his ass, because you can pause it there, because he's gone through time and he's been futzing around with time.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, they should have all been dead. You presumably should also be dead as a consequence of that, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't know how the branching thing works. So yeah, they've shown up to, because I can't remember exactly how what we sort of settled on would be like the most likely kind of, how are they going to bring Deadpool in? Is it going to be an Infinity Stone thing? I'm assuming that in passing we probably mentioned the TVA, but I wouldn't have thought that would have been the angle they were going down.
it makes the most sense. And not necessarily that we may or may not have said it, but it's a relevant thing that's still fresh in people's minds from Loki.
From Loki, absolutely.
And it's an extra. Obviously, we see all the bits later on in the trailer, but it's an extra bit that shows that he's part of this universe. And you could have done it in like a Doctor Strange way, or even No Way Home, or just something. But this line in a minute, when obviously closes his door and it looks like they've got sex toys. This is what seals it for me as it's the same Deadpool that we've seen in the Fox universe brought into this universe, and it is kind of like a no holds barred kind of situation. But I don't think we would have said the TVA personally, but it just makes the most sense.
I don't remember, honestly. I really don't. Because
I
think it's because of so much sort of like multiversal stuff and Fantastic Four and Doctor Strange being the most kind of probable culprit.
Yeah.
The TVA having literally a pad that they use that goes through time and dimension. Yeah, I guess, sure.
Yeah.
You know, he fucks around with time and they sort of go in and just try and sort him out after the fact.
It's exactly what they're there to do. So, like, we've seen it in Loki. We've seen that they will go after people who are fucking up with the timeline and stuff. And that's what he's doing. The only kind of other question to that is, what timeline's he fucking up? Because, theoretically, this is still the Fox one.
I imagine that this is very much still the original Deadpool timeline. So this is still, it's the Colossus X-Men, it's, the Nicholas Hoult,
Negasonic.
James McAvoy, Negasonic, exactly. They're all Yukio. They're all still knocking around.
Hi, Yukio.
Yeah. But when they drag him through, that's when things start to go. I don't think it's unlikely that he would be, unless they hold him hostage to it and say, look, if you want to go back to this beautiful timeline that you've never seen, like you've fucked around with time and you've messed it all up, but if you want to go back to your missus and all your mates and your birthday party, then you've got to step up and you've, in essence, got to give us a movie where we can explain you in the MCU.
Yeah.
And then you can go back home, sort of thing. Because there's literally no reason why he would be brought through dimensions to sort out anything that any of the current Avengers could not deal with fairly handily. Not
really. You've got, especially in, we see a glimpse of Moon in this one, and it's not a spoiler because his name's in the title, but you've got Wolverine in this universe. Mm-hmm. Why would you need a Deadpool?
Well, no, this is the thing. I don't think it is a Wolverine from this universe.
No, but I mean,
Wolverine from a different universe.
Well, this is another. Let's play it. Let's let it play out a little bit more, so because this is just talking now, but with the best line of, like pegging's not. I'm not new to pegging, but Disney is.
Yeah.
Such a
already very clearly just sort of like it's still going to be the same kind of Deadpool film. So we'll take the piss out of. Right. So go back a sec.
To the door, or
yes. So when the TVA door opens behind him and he gets pulled through. Now, do you think that is someone saving him from being pruned by the TVA, or do you think that's someone who's kidnapping him?
So
to bring him through?
The way the trailer plays, it's somebody taking him to the TVA, because the very next scene, I believe, if I remember rightly, is him there.
With someone called Paradox, which is a new TVA agent by the looks of it.
But that just could be how the trailer's played. And,
I agree. Yeah, I think that's probably what it is. I think it makes it seem as if he's been nicked by the TVA. Yeah. But this could be the new TVA now that Miss Minutes has been restarted. But obviously, we don't know in terms of Loki. Like, is Loki in charge of this timeline, or is this a bit before that, or how is all that working? I suspect that they are there to prune him, and someone pops him through, and it could very well be this guy or one of the guys that works for this guy But I'll be very disappointed, Callum, if this guy who's called Paradox, and the only reason I know that is because when I first watched it, the subtitles were on. If he doesn't go, "Hi there, my name's Paradox," and Ryan Reynolds doesn't go, "Parallax," from Green Lantern, and he's like, "No, Paradox." He's like, "Oh, thank God." Thank God, I thought I was getting...
You brought me to the DC universe.
I thought you could throw me into the sun.
See, I think that's... They've kind of like... trying to get him from all angles. Somebody tries to get him through that. He kills them all and then goes through the door anyway.
Well, no, because they were following him through.
I suppose.
So either someone pops through, grabs him, pulls him through, door shuts, and they go, tits. Open up a door of their own, then go home, which is then when you see the feet stepping on the wig. Or, like you say, it's a hit squad. They distract him, someone grabs him from behind and pulls him through. But if they were just there to capture him, why would they have their pruning sticks ready to go?
True. Very true.
Because you don't threaten someone with those, because no one will know what it is.
Well, they're hunters, aren't they? Like, when they're sent out, it's literally to prune the people that they're looking for. They're not diplomats, and they're not going to talk it out. That's the whole point of it. Which makes me think that he will kill them, because how's he going to get out of it otherwise?
Well, that's what I think we go to later in the trailer. So this is after he's brought through. He's speaking to this new agent called Paradox. The fact that they went with someone other than Owen Wilson as Mobius, that's kind of cool. But is this the same version of the TVA? Is it post-Kang? Is it pre-Kang? Like, where does this sit? Also, the fact that he's got a locker with a Deadpool suit in it. Is he not the first? So pause it there. So potentially, is he not the first Deadpool that they've had to recruit to come in and do some TVA stuff? Because also his badge. He's got like a worker's like a badge that's there, and I can't make it out. It says Wade, obviously, but
it's blurry enough that we can't read what the actual writing is other than Wade. But it looks like the kind of thing you would have at a workplace, like you say. It's a proper name.
It's like a work in a superstore sort of thing.
Yeah.
So either that's something they've given him, or that could be one of another Deadpools. They could be going through a bunch of Deadpools because they go, fucking hell, we need someone who can deal with, they can take the hits, they can keep getting back up, and they'll listen to us. So we're recruiting these many Deadpools in because they'll fight for love. Really difficult to kill, but if they do, we'll get another one in. It's all right.
And they got a cool suit.
And they got a cool suit. But that's why else would they have it there?
Yeah, I mean, it could be like a time thing. Maybe he has been helping them for a while, and that's why he's got one. I don't know, but
maybe.
We got another person here I don't know.
That's the same dude from The Office.
Is it?
Sit down. Yeah, I'm pretty sure
Is
it is.
Is it really?
I think so. Isn't that the same dude? It is.
I think it is. He looks a bit more tanned.
Well, it's because he's under different.
I think it's just the lighting of it.
The TVA 70s filter.
Yeah,
and then he's
I
just
think
like,
it is,
you want to be a cool hero. It's like, you've been doing Deadpool stuff, but you're not a real fucking hero. Like, here's your real heroes. Here's all of the intro from Age of Ultron.
Here's the Disney Plus highlight reel.
Yeah, there's your Iron Man. There's your Captain America. There's your Thor with one eye. But that is all the opening of Age of Ultron. I'm sure of it.
No, he's got two eyes in Age of Ultron.
Oh, then it might be Infinity War.
It'll be from
when he pops in after, when he's had Stormbreaker made. Or from Ragnarok.
Yeah. No, it'll be.
No, because he gets the eyeball from Rocket, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So eye patch probably would be Ragnarok. Then the desert.
That's a scene I want to touch on, and again, this is more of a potential thing. So I saw a thing on Twitter /X, whatever the fuck we call it these days.
That back of that.
Oh no, I just want to touch on this one. Apparently, this is the same room from Ragnarok. It's like Hulk's bedroom.
Oh, like it's the teeth on the bed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I would never have picked that up, and I assume if it is, it will be touched on in the film. But I just thought it was a room with the teeth.
Yeah, no, you could very well be right there, or whoever it is that said it on Twitter could be right. Like that. Does that look like the back of Ryan Reynolds' head, or does that look like someone in a chair to you?
That looks like pointy ears. Doesn't look like Ryan Reynolds' ears or his head.
But look at the shoulders. It looks like they slumped down, but there's a thing that's
that's
behind
a chair.
them.
That's a chair. That is. That's a
So does that mean
chair.
that's a new Professor Xavier?
Ooh.
It might not be.
I mean, it could just be Patrick Stewart.
It could be. It could be. Maybe he's got one more in him as well before he finally knocks it on the head.
James McAvoy.
Um,
because we don't see this person again for the rest of the trailer.
No. So it could just be somebody just sat in a chair, but it could be that's a thing opening up and it's a new Professor Xavier walking down. Well, no, certainly not walking down. But that it wouldn't surprise me if they said like, here's the lineup for your new X-Men. We've already had Beast in the Marvels, assuming that this is the same X-Men at all, because this is a question for you, Callum. The TVA have obviously been able to pop through to Deadpool's universe. Does that mean that they could just go into whatever X-Men universe that Photon is in? They could just nip through, grab her back, and bring her home.
Potentially. I mean, it kind of ruins the rest of the intro to the X-Men. It's like, well, you met him, see you later, bye.
Yeah, kind of. But then that opens up a far more, quite frankly, interesting door. That it doesn't all have to be, infinite cosmic stones and magic and whatever. It's like, now remember those guys that you've seen for years who can Rick and Morty portal literally anywhere and anything. Yeah, they could just open a door and just bring them all through if they wanted to. Like, here's your backup. It's all of the X-Men or every Wolverine.
I mean, it depends how they want to do it, because like you said, whereas they can bring them all in and go, right, here's 58 different variants of the Avengers and here's 16 different versions of the X-Men and whatnot. They could either use it as a means to kind of like reset the MCU make it a bit more simple, like the old days, like it used to be
when there was 4 of them,
or they kind of stop not stop the merging of the properties, but they just go, there's a film coming out, but this is that universe. It's fuck all to do with Captain Marvel and stuff.
So there might be the odd crossover bit where they go, shit, we need a super genius. Get me Reed Richards.
Yeah.
TVA person on the phone. Mobius. Hook me up.
But that would be like a really simple way of giving everybody.
Disagree. Like, I think if you're doing it, fucking do it.
I'm not saying that's what they are going to do.
Just if you've got like a just a get out of jail free card, it just like you can just hop to another dimension and get back up. Because then you go, well, fuck, just take me to the universe that's got Superman in it. You can just fly in and
I don't think
no
the
Krypton.
TVA are that powerful. Where they can go to a completely different comic book.
Any dimension. Like, you're telling me that if they could get away with it, they wouldn't open up a portal, then it would be fucking Rick and Morty on the other side.
Nah,
open up and it'd be in the Citadel of Ricks.
They did it with Chip and Dale. I don't think they're going to do it with the Avengers.
But I reckon if you open it up and it's Ryan Reynolds just he's got one of those pads and he's just sort of like furiously typing and he's just going between the Mulan universe into the Death Star,
that
like
stuff I
running
can see,
across,
yeah.
like just that sort of thing while he's been chased down by the TVA. Like, yeah, any properties that they've got their grubby mitts on, they could throw into this for the sake of it. Why fucking not?
I'd imagine that at least Reynolds would have wanted to do something similar. Maybe even exactly that, but like for the post-credit scene for Deadpool 2, one of them was he wanted to go back in time and shoot baby Hitler and
strangle him, I think, but
kill him. But how he explained it, and the guy was like, well, what would it even be like? He's like, well, we just get a baby and just put a fake mustache on him. I was like, if that's the kind of stuff he was doing then, and Fox wouldn't let him do it, and I assume that they were like quite lenient with stuff.
Yeah, Disney's going to be like, absolutely no, you can't strangle babies on when you're working in our studios anymore. That can't happen, no.
And I assume that's how they went down the route of the multiple Ryan Reynolds that he killed. Because he just goes, well, it's me, so it's fine.
Yeah, I don't mind. Everyone kind of knows that Green Lantern's shit, and I don't really like it, so yeah. But again, that's a DC property mentioned, but again, it's not within the confines of the character or the universe.
No, it's breaking the fourth wall
of it. But it's a DC property mentioned within a Sony film of a
Fox film
of a Fox. Of a Fox film of a Marvel character.
Yeah. Can't get any more Rick and Morty than that.
No, probably not really. But anyway, I mean, that again, this is all about speculation. That could be a dude in a chair just overlooking things. It could be a new Professor X. It could just be Ryan Reynolds sat in a chair. I don't know.
The thing is, though, looking at that, we'll move on from this scene in a sec. But actually looking at it now, because I'll be honest, the few times I've watched this trailer prior, I just kind of glanced over this thing because I've only just about managed to pause it because it's like point something of a second that it's actually in focus and then it fades into the next scene. But that does look like the TVA.
I don't know. I think it's still part
location.
of the weird wibbly world that he's in, which is sort of like it's like a dimension between dimensions or something stupid like that. But anyway, carry on. Yeah. It could be no one, could be really important. Then you've got the Hulk bedroom, and then he's in the casino, and I have a strong suspicion that when he's approaching the back here, he's going to put his hand on his shoulder and turn him around, and it's not going to be Hugh Jackman.
I think it is, because
I reckon it's a fake out.
That white suit is Patch.
Patch what?
So it's a persona that Wolverine has when he's in when he's in Japan. You've got Patch, and he's called Patch because he wears an eye patch, and he's more of a secret agent than an X-Men mutant murderer. But and I think we're going to get at least 2 or 3 different Hugh Jackmans, and this will be one of them.
Lean more into maybe there's more than one Deadpool as well.
Potentially. But
and ideally, all of them getting together, just going, "Oh my god, I can't believe we're doing multi-dimensional stuff."
Well,
again,
how would that work though? Because obviously if you go into the same as the Sonyverse did with Across the Spider-Verse and that, you got your canonical events that have to happen in order to
otherwise the universe explodes or whatever. Yeah.
So does that mean in every single instance, Wade Wilson gets cancer in every single one?
I don't know.
Because he has to get cancer, enlist into the Weapon X program, and then that's obviously how he gets his, because he's a mutate, not a mutant.
But was he really in the Weapon X program in the Deadpool films though?
Yeah, that's what. I don't think they specifically call it Weapon X, what I mean. But
it wasn't a military program. It was like a bunch of idiots who just got together and just injected DNA into people. Was
it Mr. Sinister? Wasn't that what they built
it was
up
implied
as?
To be, but I think it was they basically got Wolverine's blood out of her suitcase. But again, you could argue that they nicked it or anything. But something like the child program from Logan, in the Mexican hospital facility. That to me, you could say that's like a Weapon X thing, and I'd be like, yeah, well, it seems a lot more organised than just a bunch of people in a grubby warehouse somewhere.
Yeah.
But I've got a feeling you're probably right. Yeah, it is Hugh Jackman.
It's going to be Patch.
But I wouldn't be surprised if he turned around and it was just somebody completely different.
What if that's Patrick Stewart?
With the hair, I'd love it. I'd absolutely love it. But yeah, more than likely that is maybe not the original meeting, but it's it's one of the first meetings or recruitment of. Because the TVA point could be that it's just look, we tried to recruit this guy a bunch of times, but we can't get close to him, and he keeps healing, and we can't kill him. And if he decides to fight you, you can hold your own against him to some degree. So you're probably the best chance that we've got to get this guy. We don't care about you, Wade Wilson. We care about Wolverine. That dude. We need him, and you're the only way that we've got to get to him.
It's a potential. I
don't know. All of this is just absolute nonsense at this point anyway.
Well,
so
that's the best thing about this trailer. There's loads in it. It's a very good trailer, but it also doesn't tell you absolutely anything.
Good.
And that's a good trailer. A very good trailer.
Play, please.
So.
Okay.
This, again.
Marvel Jesus. Very good.
Bit of a fourth wall breaking, but actually, now there's a bit here.
Oh, that's very good. I like that when it's the suit up and it cuts to someone just slapping him on the arse. There. Whoop.
See, the first time I watched it, I thought that was Mickey Mouse's hand.
No, mate. Of course it's not. Are you stupid?
I had to go like as soon as I finished watching it. I was like, was that Mickey's glove?
No, of course it's not. You bloody idiot.
It's not. I went back.
Right
now,
this Callum. This is the woods from Age of Ultron, isn't it?
It's either the woods from Age of Ultron or it's the woods from Logan, but in a different season.
I would agree if it was like summer, but I think because like I can't tell from this shot as it's
it could just
small,
be Canada.
Behind him, there is like what looks like a flipped over truck car thing.
Yeah, that's a good shot. Actually, I hadn't noticed that
because there's like a bunch of those like Hydra trucks and whatever that Hulk and Hawkeye or whatever were flipping over and all kinds of shit.
Hawkeye wasn't flipping them over.
He was like shooting explosives or whatever. I can't remember. But that would lend to the theory then that he was also in Hulk's room on Sakaar in Ragnarok, which means that he's intentionally or not, he's traveling between some of like the Avengers' greatest hits.
Yeah.
But as an aftermath thing. So he's trying to get away from the TVA guys who again are trying to get him. And he's jumping between Avengers best ofs.
Yeah.
So he's in the aftermath. So you're not going to get a Black Widow and an Iron Man zipping around. This is like 20 minutes after they've all done their stuff. He's going to just pop through and he's going to be fighting off TVA agents.
Now, did they
If anything, like you could just have a bunch of him just like looking like directly at his face, just going, "Oh my god, look at that guy that's flying around over there. There's a guy with an axe, and oh no, wait, there's a big green guy that's smashing into a room. Oh my god, this is incredible. I wish you could see this." Like just like it's him just replaying all of the Avengers events, but it's all.
I'd be happy if they just really lazily screened him in. So like when it's doing like the circle around, like in the first Avengers film, and the camera's panning around them all. He's stood in the middle of them, just going as the camera's just going around.
Yeah.
Like, but in Loki, did the hunters have the helmets? Because the armor looks the same, but I don't remember them having the helmets.
No, I agree. I think they do, but I don't think it was like a face covering thing.
Now,
but I could just be remembering that completely wrong.
I remember like the not ballistic shield, fucking idiot, because that's a shield. But like the clear.
Yeah, it's like
thing.
face covering stuff. Yeah.
Now, do you think this is a middle ground for the violence? So we see the blood and everything else, but we don't see it go in his head because he's got a helmet on.
So if he gets headshotted, it's not a face exploding; it's a helmet.
Exactly.
Doing.
Yeah. Unlike the Fox versions of it.
Potentially, yeah, because then that way you could say that this is after the TVA's been reorganised. Now that who's it like Mobius and the other hunter, I think, like that general, they're in charge now. Like, they could have redesigned the uniforms and the hit squads. But I thought they were very much against pruning as like a concept.
Yeah, but I suppose it depends what damage Deadpool's doing. I suppose to the time, but then again, they proved that a lot of it is irrelevant to what they were led to believe. But I just think this is more of a Disney thing where they go, we'll keep the violence as is, but they'll tone down some of the like more gratuitous stuff. Or it's because what time was the Super Bowl in America? Because obviously it was really fucking early here.
No idea.
Because if it's in the daytime, like morning, they wouldn't be able to show an R-rated trailer anyway.
Oh, so you think that if it wasn't past the watershed or whatever their equivalent is, they wouldn't be able to show an actual. And that's true, but also this is a trailer for a film that comes out in like 5 months.
Yeah.
So a lot of this could be tweaked. A lot of it could be Mr. X anyway.
Can you imagine that if none of this is in the film?
Like Hugh Jackman isn't in it at all. Like it's the quest for him to find Wolverine, and he doesn't.
Yeah. The only time we see him is the end of this trailer.
No, it cuts to him, like in Logan dying on that tree, and it's just him, just like holding his fake hand, and it's just like, oh, I'm so glad I finally found you.
That would be pretty funny, to be honest.
Yeah,
I'd be fucking livid, but it'd be pretty funny.
So he kills a bunch of people, right? You can stop right there because in the background is quite clearly a 20th Century Fox sign. So I want to know what the fuck this is about. because clearly they just sort of like, oh, this is like the dead zone, nothing exists here anymore, or whatever, and then or it's just like, you know, you've broken too much of time or space or whatever because of your 20, like we're pulling you over from another studio or whatever.
The reason the Fox universe failed is because Deadpool's been like time hopping,
fucking around with shit. That's a great get out of jail free card. It's like, oh, we had all these other great films that we were going to do, but then this guy came in and just like ruining everything.
I will say, like, this is a really cool scene, like with the where he's like loading the, like catching the
no one cares
bags and stuff. That's cool.
No one cares when
no.
the studio is directly behind you.
This I already knew about months and months ago. There was some set photos that leaked, and now rather than go, here's some photos, but spoilers. If you want to see them, swipe across on Instagram. But if you don't, keep going. IGN didn't do that.
Mentioning that.
This is
he
it.
He said he photoshopped a bunch of them.
No. That was afterwards. That was. Oh. So the photos was already out before, and then he did.
Oh, is that what the set photo was of the 20th Century Fox? So, I mean, that's of all the things to spoil. That's not really a big one. It's not as if it's like...
No, there's 2 or 3 that I've seen that I'm not going to mention, and they're not in this trailer either. But this was one of them. But I think that's a genuinely really good gag. There's probably we might only see it for like a minute or so of the film, but it's just fucking hilarious that they put it in.
It'll just be like it'll be some pan across. It's just like, oh, this is the absolute land of unbelievable garbage and desolate destruction, and everything that's ever come here is it's terrible and worthless, and it just slowly just pans across. And everything in here deserves to be acquired by a much better, bigger company. And it just...
They could also just do the helicarrier that's in the first Deadpool film, and it's there, and they just they don't even mention it. It's just not mentioned at all. It's just there, and that could be what happens here. Like we might see it for like the entirety of this whole scene, and nobody says anything.
No, it'll be like a Rick and Morty joke where they're just like, "Oh, we need to go to the dimension of absolute dog shit," and then it pops straight in. It's right next to this. Oh, also, but I agree. Great joke. Yeah, very funny, and I'd have laughed a lot. I want to know what the context behind it is, because if it's like the universe of broken dreams, and it's just like it's 20th Century Fox, that would still be funny, knowing that's coming. Like, because I don't. Again, the sign of a good trailer. You've shown me something, and I don't know what that means in the context of the scene that it's in. So that could be hilarious because nobody mentions it. Or it could be they set up a really funny joke. There'll be something poking fun at a company that doesn't exist anymore. I mean, they could have a crack at them in any way they want to. They own them, so yeah, exactly. Well, they can do what they want. Great joke. But yes, the reload stuff that's bitching. I do like. I mean, they haven't done a lot of changes to it, but the new suit's pretty cool. And there's like more black around the neck and stuff, isn't there? Yeah, but it seems to be a much more kind of like MCU quality suit as opposed to again, maybe the TVA kit him out and just like, look, you made your last one on a sewing machine. We've got one for you from a better Deadpool that was killed, so you can have his old suit if you want to. What if that's the thing? What if this Deadpool is the good Deadpool and the actual one from the Fox universe is dead? Yeah, it's like instead of just like how we're going to cross dimensions and times and stuff, like that one's dead, this is another one, and he's way better, and he's got a cooler suit, and he doesn't swear, and then he takes the mask off and he's Patrick Stewart. Right, now, so that question right there, Callum, I know you got the same one. What the fuck was that? Pause. Now, some sort of weird ghost monster. Now, I'm honestly saying, looking at the smoke, it might be Morbius. No, don't be stupid. But it's most likely something either Nightcrawler or the big smoky dragon thing from Loki season 1. Or that, none. Or it's the smoke monster from Lost. It's definitely not the smoke monster from Lost. But there's like that armoured vehicle that's behind it, which makes me think that this is like some sort of military company or something that's taking over like a certain bit or building up a new base or something like that. And the TVA, or he's ended up there, the TVA have tracked him there, and then this could be like some sort of new mutant hangout or something like that. Maybe. And like that's another rando ghost mutant or spook mutant that's grabbed him. But he's in handcuffs though, so How?
I mean, I assume they just put
Like Deadpool. yeah, but Deadpool doesn't handcuff people to ask them questions.
Yeah, but he's probably not done that.
No, that's
he's
what I mean. But
there.
then,
and then you got
why
like
is he already there?
Weird like Zorb cages from like Mad Max.
But they look like Death Star kind of like radar balls, don't they?
We can't just read everything into a Disney property.
This is an Imperial Star Destroyer base, I'm telling you.
And them wheels look like the buttons that was on the Hunchback's cloak.
And they also use those famous Star Wars machine guns. But yeah, I genuinely don't know what that is. It could just be a random ghost monster, like you say.
I'd lean more into if it's something we know. The only thing from recent memory that just pops into my head is the smoke monster from Loki. And maybe that's the part of where they are. And that's by the TVA there. I don't know.
Yep.
Why I want it to be more is it is Morbius. And he flies through, grabs him, and then Deadpool just shoots him, and then Jared Leto dies.
Just
not
shot,
real
shot,
Jared
shot,
Leto.
Shot. And it's just like, look, I know I haven't got this many bullets, but shot.
It would just be funny. And again, it'd lead to like the Deadpool 2 trailer where we found out that we're going to have the X-Force, but then you see the movie and they all die immediately. And a lot of stuff could be in a similar vein to that.
Could be a big dragon. Who knows?
Now.
Right. Yeah, now this, because I shit my pants, Callum, when I first saw this, and I want to know if you shit your pants in exactly the same way. Did you shit your pants?
I did indeed shit my pants.
Why did you shit your pants, Callum?
Maybe a certain Mr. Dr. Doom.
Yep. I was like, no, it's not. Oh, thank God.
Now, I think it's to do with Doom, so it's some kind of like lackey. But there's the gun. It's definitely not Doctor Doom. It's 100% not Doctor Doom.
I don't even think it's like a Doombot kind of situation either.
No, I don't think it's a Doombot, but I think it's like just like a follower or a henchman or something. But look in the back of this. I'm going to make it a little bit big and cover us up.
Okay.
What's that in the like left-hand side?
Oh, that's a helicarrier.
Yeah.
Oh, I never noticed that before.
Yeah.
Well, it's a rotor of, should I say.
Yeah, it's not like an entire one. Could be off Stingy. But obviously we also see the whatever this device is.
Hold on, is that one of those Chitauri skeleton things?
That's what it looks like, but then it turns. And then
it absolutely is. No, in the background.
That's what I mean, the thing in the back. What I'm saying is that turns and covers it up, but it's so fast you can't see it. But, which means a lot of this stuff could be made out of the Chitauri technology, similar to how Vulture was doing it in Spider-Man Homecoming.
Or this could just be some sort of trash universe where like remnants of old tech or whatever have fallen through.
Or Sony movies and Fox.
No, if there was like a like Cerebro or something like that, like one of the X-Jet or something was crashed into the back, then yeah, it's just like it's the desolate Fox universe just sort of spread out.
Well, that's what I was thinking more because we've got two Mr. Dooms in the Fox universe.
Yeah, so there's
Nip Tuck guy.
Yeah, and then there's Melted Bin Bag guy.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think I don't think they care enough to make fun of that because it's not like it's just sort of like the silly old movies or whatever. It's just sort of like they're really kind of bad and no one really appreciate. No one would appreciate a joke at the expense of Fan Four Stick.
Well, I mean that will forever be a joke, but. I don't think this is necessarily like a funny thing, and I think bringing into this universe, this could be the Doctor Doom of this universe. Unlikely, very unlikely, but he's got the cloak, he's got the mask, he's got the tech.
No, I don't think, and again, I don't think he'd be. Can we zoom in a little bit more on him? Because I think he's just some sort of like desolate waste dude. Because he's got a mask, but that could just be for the dust. He looks a little bit too basic.
Looking at that, that's not a Doom mask. It looks a little bit like a hankered down Iron Man mask. Like looking at like the jaw.
Yeah, but like, look at the tech that he's got in the background. It's like it's got some solar panels, like hooked up to some magnets and stuff, like on that dish. This is like a scavenger dude. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
but it's like you said, it's scavenging that giant Chitauri monster thing, and it's scavenging the leftovers of the helicarrier. So some sort of like alternate dimensional junkyard, maybe.
It's guaranteed that the reason that that's in the trailer is for the exact thing that we've just sat and discussed.
Maybe.
Is it Doctor Doom?
Also, if that is, boo.
It's definitely not going to be Doctor Doom.
Boo.
But
Terrible.
I will say, completely irrelevant, but IGN, there was a leaked picture of Bullseye from the Daredevil TV show.
And the dude who plays Bullseye.
The costume and everything. It's
right.
dog shit. Now I'm hoping I won't go into spoilies, but I'm hoping it's a similar situation with Daredevil, where he starts off with a dog shit suit, later on gets a good one. That's what I'm hoping for. But
okay.
we'll touch on that at a later date. So moving on, Dan.
So we've got a bit of a radar dish thing, and then it cuts back to the. Again, I'm fairly sure that it's the Sokovian forest. Oh no, it was Sokovia. It was
Sokovia, yeah.
Attacking that big fortress thing, yeah. Bit of gunplay, bit of a kick. There. Now, again, Callum, when I was watching this yesterday, when I was watching the un-audio version, it was subtitled. And do you know what it came up and said that guy's name was?
Pyro.
Because
that's the guy from the X2.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
I mean, he's older now, but that's 100% him.
I don't think it is, mate.
It definitely
He looks
is.
about 45.
Yeah. That's honestly, I promise you, that's Pyro from the X-Men films.
Which one was it? X2, was it?
No, I think it was X. It could have been X2 or X3. Last Stand. He's definitely in Last Stand, but I think he's in X-Men 2 first. Yeah, he is. He's in X2 first because he's with Bobby and Wolverine, and that when Wolverine gets shot in the head on the porch.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So X2. I mean, I'll be honest, you could be completely right, but I just don't see it in his face. But again, that is a film from like 20 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
And he was about 20 something when that came out.
Also, John Allardyce, is that him? Pyro, yeah. Like they haven't called him. Like everyone else is like, it's just all like it's Rogue, it's Logan, it's whatever, and then it's just John Allardyce. They haven't even put in his
as himself.
That's bullshit. He's in Picard. No way. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No, it's not him, Callum.
What?
It's not him.
It is. Let me have a look.
So I'm looking at the X-Men 2, John Allardyce, Pyro. His last thing is in Finest Kind, 2023. Then Star Trek Picard, Westworld, and then like a bunch of stuff going back a couple of years. So what could potentially be the case is that if it is actually him, then they just haven't updated his IMDb page.
That's what I reckon it is. Yeah. Aaron Stanford appears to return as Marvel's X-Men character Pyro.
Okay, cool. Then they just haven't updated it if that's the case. Cool.
Told you.
Which means then, are we going to get a few old school X-Men that might show up? Your James Masters, your Bobby Drakes. Not Bobby Drake, that's his
real name. But yeah.
Yeah, what's his name? He plays... I can't see him as Iceman now. I see him as Lamplighter and just being an absolute fucking wanker.
I see him as the guy from Quantum Break on the Xbox.
I'd much rather he showed up as the guy from Quantum Break. It was like stopping time and shit. That'd be
pretty
amazing.
Cool. I don't think we won't get Kitty Pryde unless they recast.
No. Colossus, they've already had 2 movies with, and he's obviously going to be in this even a little bit. But if they went for...
What if we had Vinnie Jones?
Different Colossus. He was Juggernaut, you idiot.
No, we'll say what if Vinnie Jones comes back? as
fair,
Juggernaut with the Deadpool Juggernaut.
They could get him. Absolutely,
easily,
they could. But like some older sort of, you didn't expect to see this particular X-person or Brotherhood person again. Like, so not your Ian McKellens, not your Patrick Stewarts, not your Famke Jensens, but
that spiky guy from X3.
The one who goes, come on, we'll get him back. With the arms that you can cut off or whatever, or you kick him in the bollocks and he goes down. Or the guy who's big fat guy who turns slim.
Yeah. Get
him back.
Get all of the like massively redundant ones.
Kill them all. Like definitively have Deadpool kill them all.
I think we'll see a few pop up, but these seem more likely, more so that you probably wouldn't have to pay them a lot of money.
Yeah, but is this desolate wasteland they're in? Is this what's left of the Fox universe? Like, they're just living off scraps, and they've not really got much else, but like only the sort of the most powerful have managed to survive, you know. So Pyro, he could be the leader of a gang, or he could just be like a pretty decent person in a gang.
It seems to be the easiest way, because there's obviously going to be a lot of different story beats to this movie when they're jumping to and from stuff. TVA is involved, so it's going to be complicated to some degree.
I just want OB just running around, just going, I don't understand. Like,
I hope he does make an appearance.
He has to. Like, I doubt you'll get Owen Wilson back in because, again, low-key, do you want to... I don't think you get Tom Hiddleston unless it's like an after-credits thing and it's Deadpool kicking him in the bollocks.
You might see him, like, eating key lime pie or something in the background. Because, again, that's something they don't even need to film. They've got the footage. They just need to have it so it's in a room that they're walking past. As they're just there, just like... It's just like they're not even saying anything. Like, it'd be dead easy. Or just someone stood looking at the pies, so it's just the back of them that you could just assume is Owen Wilson. That's what I mean. It's all there ready. May as well utilise it. But this desolate Fox universe seems the easiest way to just explain in one instance what it is, and you're not going to be surprised. Like, it's going to be cool. And you're like, oh shit, that's fucking Pyro. Oh shit, that's fucking Beast or whatever. Those moments are going to be cool, but you're not going, well, why are they there? Why is that person there? Because it'll be explained.
It's the scraps that are left over from the Fox universe that Marvel maybe haven't decided on what they want to do with yet.
Basically, yeah. So, it's like purgatory.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So, like, they Marvel and Disney have kind of like gone, yeah, we'll take all the X-Men, we'll take all the, your good Brotherhoods, we'll take your Magnetos and your Mystics and whatever. And then whatever the leftovers were, that's when Ryan Reynolds or whoever said, We'll take him. We'll just have him just sort of wandering around in this empty universe. Just go, what the fuck do we do now?
I think that would be quite an interesting premise.
As a concept, I kind of like that.
It's just like a mini one-shot show or something like that as well.
Yeah, like the gutted Fox universe. So there's a Silver Surfer, and like you say, like two Dooms who just don't know what to do with themselves now. Do you know what I mean? Like that.
I'd watch the shit out of that.
That sounds great, right?
Yeah.
Because again, the actors who played them aren't, AAA rated, impossible to get. Yeah. You could get them and just say, do you want to come back and just do a silly thing where you could just be a Doom who's going, power. Yeah. But actually, you're kind of useless compared to everything else that's been going on. Like the TVA just sort of like, all right, fuck off, Doom.
To be fair, it would be similar to do you remember the little skit they did with, I can't remember the chap's name now, but from Ferris Bueller.
Matthew Broderick.
Yeah. Sorry, just complete blank. When he's in bed and Deadpool's like reading him the story, and he's all about like Marvel superior. He's like, well, Fox, like it's not the same as like the MCU kind of. I can't remember what the actual thing is for it, but it's basically that's what this would be for these people, where they're like. A lot of the time they are gonna it's gonna be a joke, and the Fantastic Four films are fucking dog shit and stuff, but it's fine because it's the Fox Marvel film, so it doesn't really matter. But then you go to get them back, you're like, do you want to be in an actual MCU film? They go, fuck yeah, redemption.
But then the question that would be then is like, why is there an MCU, what looks to be like an MCU helicarrier rotor and a Chitauri big monster thing? How are they there?
That's a good point.
Because
Well, there was who was going to use the scrolls?
It was Fox.
I'm sure it was Fox.
It was for Dark Phoenix. They were going to do the scrolls first.
So potentially, maybe they were going to do Chitauri. And it was just scrapped ideas that they can't use.
Absolutely not. They never could have used them in a million years.
I mean, it even could just be something as simple as, I don't know, just cleaning up and
But think about it though. Like again, it's a trailer. They could go, "Oh, it's a helicarrier." That'll get people speculating on YouTube for the next 6 months, and then when the film comes out, it's nothing. Yeah. Or it's Galactus's helmet or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, well, it's an easy thing to flip out for a trailer, so we don't give anything away. But people are looking out for it, and then it's a surprise.
Hulk and Hulkbuster in Infinity War. In the trailer, when they're all running, Hulk's there, but obviously in the film, he's not there.
It's not. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So carry on anyway. So yeah, Pyro showing up, which means that potentially there's not just new X-Men; it's old X-Men,
old existing ones
as well. Cool.
And everyone's favourite bit.
He's a bit knackered, a bit beaten.
There is. I'm just going to pause it there a second because you won't be able to tell from this screenshot down. So take my word for it because I did a little bit of investigating. That's a comic book on the left-hand side.
Oh, okay.
And specifically, it is Secret Wars issue 5.
And is there anything in particular that we need to know about Secret Wars episode 5?
I didn't go into that much into like more detail for it, but obviously we've got a Secret Wars film coming up, so potentially it's just a nod.
Isn't it a show now?
I'm pretty sure it's a film, Secret Wars.
Oh, sorry,
you're thinking Secret Invasion.
I am. Yeah, never mind.
So it could just be a little cheeky little Easter egg kind of situation where it doesn't actually mean anything. But yeah, just thought I'd point that one out.
No, that's good. I didn't spot that at all.
And then here he is.
Then we get the shadow. And then shing. Unnecessary. Pure trailer bait and trailer bait only. No reason to do that if you're then going to pick someone up because you're going to stab them immediately whether you plan to or not. So it's a cool looking shot for the trailer. But if he was going to kill him, or try to, it looks like he's just going to grab him and pick him up.
It's too quick, Dan. It's too quick.
But we get a little bit better of the look at the suit. Well, no, sorry, that's the worst.
Yeah, well, it's
the suit that we've seen so far.
It's the first time we've seen it that wasn't like an on-set.
Exactly. So we've seen the suit in much better conditions.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's. But I think you're probably right in the sense that maybe we'll get a couple of different Wolverines. Like they want to get their money's worth out of Hugh Jackman while he's still keen for this.
Because especially like the patch stuff isn't going to be too taxing because he is a bit more like subdued. So he's not running around. He's not jumping off roofs and fucking slashing people up and that. He's more of a espionage type of person. So you could get quite a few scenes out of patch. Probably, I'd be surprised if we don't see some like X-Force stuff just to like change up the suit. So he's got a grey version of this suit, or he's got the like the tan and brown version of the suit and stuff like that. I'm disappointed not to see a mask though. That's just his big old head.
But think about it. He could very well have turned up in that, and then they've had a bit of a scrap, and then he's taken the hat off him. And then that's how he's ended up on the floor, and that's why he's going for him.
Normally, just like it's like a hood that's attached to like the back of his suit that you can just pop back on again. So that could be the same here.
Don't forget, most of the time now, what they're doing is that with like the costumes and stuff like that, and whatever goes and just sort of covers the head or whatever, it's all some bullshit CG thing that doesn't exist on the day.
Yeah.
So it could be, if that was the case, there could be like a torn version of it that's just hanging off. Could be on the back. They could replace his head completely with CG and put the helmet on.
Patrick Stewart there.
Exactly. Like, if anything, this is just a good indication that they're absolutely going balls to the wall with this.
Yeah.
And this is potentially the one that's going to get people really interested to come back and go, fuck me, I'll come back and watch that at the cinema.
It helps. Well, it helps or hinders, depending on how good the film is. But this is the only MCU film coming out this year. And what I did, like, a load of people was, I saw on comments earlier, like, it's the only Marvel film coming out at all this year. Like, oh, you got Madam Web and Craven. I go, this is the only Marvel film coming out this year.
I forgot that Craven was coming out until you just mentioned that.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of trailers for Madam Web.
We got to watch that shit, mate.
But I'm just like, I don't understand why you're pushing so much in the trailer of her being chased by not Spider-Man.
Yeah.
When you've got 3 Spider Women and you've shown fuck all of them, really.
What the thing is, though, what they should have, I'm not saying it'll make the film better, but what they should have done is shown us like a glimpse of it. So for the rest of the thing, until you see the film, you go, is it Spider-Man who's chasing her and stuff? But they don't. They give you that illusion for like 3 seconds, and they go, "Oh no, it's not.
Yeah,
it's this other guy. Don't worry about it."
But then you've got the Spider Woman in the Iron Spider suit, or the equivalent of with the legs. Again, a flash, and that's gone. But that's the stuff you want to do a whole bunch of Spider people in a live action movie. Focus on that rather than just. And again, it's not Madam Web as Loki in essence for the Spider-Verse. You know, sort of like holding the webs. What is it, the webs of fate or something like that?
Some bullshit.
I can't remember. But instead, it's some woman who's a paramedic who's going through like a weird Final Destination thing. He's being chased by a spider person with other.
Looks awful. And I, for one, can't wait, Dan, because for this kind of thing, we have to watch it. But
we do.
I don't know if this is a good or a bad thing. I'm more excited about Madam Web than I am Craven. So
I'm excited for neither equally.
Excited is definitely the wrong word to use. But
okay, well, let's put it like this. I watched the Marvels. It was okay, about 6, 7 out of 10 maybe. You watched the Marvels. I'd say you probably give it a 5 or 6 maybe.
Yeah, it's 5.5 to a 6.
Are you more excited for watching Madam Web and Craven or the Marvels?
Marvels.
Exactly. And that should say everything that we need to say about that topic, I believe.
I'm more excited to watch the Eternals than...
I'm fairly confident that there is a trailer out for Craven. And Callum, I have yet to see it.
Have you not watched it?
Nope.
Oh, it's pretty good. Like, when you watch it...
No. I'm going to watch it. I'll watch it after this, just so at least I know that I've then gone, oh, okay, that also looks poo.
Well... There's something in it. I will just say, I love Aaron Taylor Johnson. I think he's a good actor, and I think he's not the best choice for Craven, but whatever.
He's hitched his horse to the wrong line.
But there's something in the trailer that you'll see immediately, and they go, well, why isn't he Craven? That's all I'm gonna say.
Right, okay.
There's someone in the trailer as someone. And it will be explained. Who out Cravens the Craven in this movie within seconds. So I'll leave that with you.
Okay, sure. Well, I'll come back to that. But in addition to Deadpool and Wolverine, which, as again, I think we can both agree fairly confidently, this looks. One, it's a great trailer. It's a genuinely great trailer. It gives you a lot to talk about. And we haven't had the chance to really talk about one of these trailers for a while. But I think that is going to be the one that is getting people kind of like, oh, maybe I can get back into these MCU films now. There's only going to be one, so I haven't got to deal with fucking 9 of them in a row just to get to the next subplot or whatever. People don't have to watch the Disney Plus stuff, which means that, again, that's why I don't think you get like your Owen Wilsons, because why pay for Owen Wilson if your main source of audience aren't going to know who the fuck he is in context to the wider thing?
But do you think that they will focus a lot on explaining the TVA for the people that haven't seen Loki?
Only in the sense of it would be a 5-minute explanation. Of just
Where?
sort of
Time, please. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, cool. I get it. Thanks for that. But the dude who plays Paradox, assuming that he doesn't get killed in this or this new TVA or whatever it is, I think, yes, that would cross back over into Loki Season 3. Yeah, like that dude, if, again, people respond to him and he's not killed off, then, yeah, he's going to come up and he's going to deal with Mobius.
Mobius has left, hasn't he? So maybe maybe this is the new guy.
Maybe he takes over, yeah. Like, because obviously not with Loki as a partner, but...
No, but they're the only ones with names, not numbers. So
that's true. Or you get Dopinder, you get him to come through, and you'd be like, "Hey, do you want to work for the TVA, or do you want to go back driving a cab in New York without Deadpool?"
That would be amazing, to be fair.
Right. But yeah, it looks like a sick film. It's I can already tell that it's going to be probably the best of the MCU that we've seen, which again isn't a particularly high bar at the moment. But I think it's probably going to blow most of the way, probably up until about Endgame, frankly.
But in terms of how do we treat this as Deadpool's first MCU solo film, ignoring 1 and 2 with Fox, and then it goes up against Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, etc. In which case, this has the potential to be the best introductory character movie in the MCU.
But that's
assuming
also
it's really good.
on the benefit of 2 films that they can go, well, they don't count, but they do because they're really good, so they should. It's not as if there was 2 Robert Downey Jr. movies and then he got 1 Iron Man one, like with Marvel, and then they went, oh, well, this is the actual start.
Yeah, this is the one we're meant to make.
The Incredible Hulk with Ed Norton, that's still that same Bruce Banner. That's that same Hulk. They didn't just go, oh, well, we'll do another one, though, and we'll get Mark Ruffalo to do that one, and then that's the real one.
Yeah. I mean, I assume that's what they would say if they could.
I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be good. We
good.
did also have a couple of trailers for Wicked. We also had a trailer that came out this week for Twister 2, or Twisters, should I say. Fucking
which I believe is based on the board game
of Twister. Yeah, it's why it's a bunch of drunk and stoned people just sort of scrabbling around a board. Like Battleships. It's part of the Hasbro collection.
Oh.
No.
No.
The
Hasbro universe.
I mean, I would have thought that in this day and age, like, people would they'd just be sick of, like, the disaster movies.
They're very popular. For some reason, they're not popular with me. And obviously I speak on behalf of all the people. But
of course,
the best thing about disaster movies like Twister was the set stuff. So, like, a lot of the buildings that get destroyed are miniatures, and like they've got little splinters of wood and stuff. I only know this because of Corridor Crew and like breakdowns and stuff. And the very you kind of look at the film in a different light and go, that's fucking impressive, just because of how they did it. But it won't be the case now because it's CGI. So,
but it's not as if you go and see like a movie like 2012 or The Day After Tomorrow or Geostorm or something like that, where like there's like continents that are just imploding on each other or whatever. Which means that you can't just have another film that's just got a hurricane or a tornado. Because he's like, we see tornadoes all the time. Like, I can watch the fucking news and watch a tornado. Like, it need to be like a super tornado. It need to be like a world-ending tornado. Yeah. Otherwise, why the fuck would you make a film about it?
Unless you think it's linked to Wicked.
What? That's the Twister.
That's the Twister that takes Dorothy,
Kansas to the Neverland or whatever.
Well, no, it's Oz, you melon.
Hi Dorothy. It's my Michael Jackson.
There we go. You like cloudy cream? Sean Locke, you legend. No, I didn't watch the trailer for Twisters, so no. I haven't got too much say in it. But I'm also not a massive fan of the original movie.
But again, like bringing Ghostbusters back, you go, well,
that makes
dangerous
sense.
ground, but you know, it's a franchise that you can build another set of monsters and ghosts and whatever on. You know, you go, oh my god, it's another hurricane, and this time it's even more hurricane-y. This one's got lasers and sharks in it.
It's like Shark.
Exactly.
Twister,
like that's how stupid these sort of films have gotten now, because it's like Crocnado and whatever.
Yeah, it's just pointless and ridiculous. But like, I know some people might throw me on a fire for this, but even when you look back at the whatever year it was Ghostbusters movie, like the kind of reboot before Afterlife.
Oh, the 2016.
I'm sure it's 2016, something like that. Yeah. Like, even when you look back at that and you go, I mean, I can understand why they tried to do an updated modern take on it, because the story, the characters, the world, like it makes sense.
Cool.
Yeah, make a film about it. But it's like going, should we make a new Crocodile Dundee? Nah, probably not. Because
that is on its way. I can pretty much guarantee. If they're remaking Roadhouse as well, they're making.
I mean, I will say Roadhouse, which looks great. I'll be honest, but I would have said the same thing that I've said about Twisters. You go, what's the fuck? Why are you making a fucking remake of this?
Why?
But it looks good, so.
but that's the thing. I don't know if Twisters. I don't know if that's a remake of Twister.
No, it's a sequel.
That's what I mean. So Roadhouse isn't a sequel to Roadhouse, is it?
No, it's just an updated take.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is why Ghostbusters, like the 2016 Ghostbusters, it shouldn't have been that Ghostbusters. It should have been Afterlife. That's what it should have been. And then we could have had probably a new trilogy out of it.
But with that, though, it was more of the MCU formula. We go, it's action, but there's loads of funny stuff in it as well, and that's what everybody loves these days.
We even got the guy who plays that one guy.
Yeah, we got
in
Thor.
Here as well. Yeah.
So it just didn't work.
There's a new trailer as well out that came out this week for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, I think it is.
Yes.
Like the new Planet of the Apes. Did you watch that?
I did watch that, Dan. And the more I watched it, the more I realised I haven't seen the last one.
Did you not?
No.
War for the Planet of the Apes, I think
it was, yeah. Because this is
with
like
Gary Oldman and
70 years later or something, isn't it?
Yeah, this is like way later. Because like the last, I think it was the last one. I might be wrong. But they were like trying to restart there was the first one, I think. Like not the first one with like Draco Malfoy, where they all sort of like start becoming intelligent, and there's the virus or whatever. The one after that is like the dude who plays, what's that guy? What's the guy? He's in like a bunch of stuff. He's got a really
Patrick Stewart.
distinctive face. I can't remember his name, but like they're trying to restart like a dam. So they're like, we've got a city, and we need to turn the dam back on to get the power. And like the apes are sort of like, okay, sure. And then the last one, I think, is the one where there's like the military like attacks like the humans or something. It's like a big thing where there's like I think that's the one with Woody Harrelson when he comes in and like kills like Caesar's wife or something, or him, I can't remember. And there's like a huge like massive war, like it's like tanks and rockets and shit like that. All the humans are blowing each other up. So potentially this one would be the aftermath of that. It's not Caesar. It's not Caesar's. It's either Caesar's kid or it's his grandkid, maybe.
Yeah, it's a descendant.
Presumably, and then the humans have blown each other to fucking Kingdom Come, and the only ones that are left are just the kingdoms from the original Planet of the Apes film. They're just in tattered rags, living tribally, being hunted by monkeys.
From what I read, there's something that happens in the previous film that explains that the humans have kind of like, because of the what were they trying to cure? Was it Alzheimer's or cancer?
No, it was Alzheimer's.
Yeah. And basically,
so their like brains devolved.
So monkeys have evolved, but the humans devolved. Apes, sorry, have they've evolved to become what we know now, but the humans have devolved, which is why when like they're at the war and stuff, and they're just like and whatnot.
And then then that explains why that orangutan's just like, oh, she's smarter than the rest.
Yeah.
So like one that's sort of like immune to the effects of the virus or whatever. Maybe. That's great then. I kind of dig that, because then it's explaining that sort of like dynamic shift, which means that they took them 4 movies to get to the point where remember what happened in the first one where they're all kind of like idiots zipping around in the forest or whatever, and all the apes are all cool and brilliant. That's how it happened.
This is it.
Yeah. So
I will say though. Oh, sorry. No, go on.
No, please.
I was just going to say that whilst I haven't seen the last one, something that's apparent through all of the first 3 of these, the CGI is phenomenal on the apes and stuff. But I don't think it's as up to snuff on this one from the trailer. It looks very more... It looks CGI, whereas the other ones, it looked almost too good in some instances. But this one looks like it hasn't had the same amount of detail. Some bits did, but I don't know whether it's because they're more human, they're wearing clothes and they got...
I think there's one of 2 things potentially, and I don't want to make excuses, certainly. One, this film is not out for a while yet, so what we may have got is just the unfinished version. So like it's just like little, just sort of like lip details and things like that we just need to tweak. or two, they are using the same kind of technology that they developed when they were making the first ones.
Other ones, yeah.
And it hasn't advanced as much as you'd have thought. Or it could even be just that because CG is so good in other films, it becomes more noticeable when it's not quite as strong in another one where it's all CG.
I'd say it's more the latter because, because I even went back and watched the trailer for the second one. It looks amazing, even now.
I would strongly recommend that you go and watch the first three.
I've seen the first one and the second one, but I haven't seen.
But when?
Oh, fucking ages ago. Enough that when you said Draco Malfoy, I remembered that he was like the zookeeper guy who's nasty to the apes. Yeah. So I've got some of it fresh in my memory.
Yes, you've got monkey brain then.
Ape
some
brain.
Of it's there and some of it. Sorry, Mr. Politically Correct.
It's more so that it was more noticeable in the whatever the lead ape is in this is very clearly a descendant of Caesar. It looks enough like him that you just go, well, why does he look so shit? He looked fucking ace in the other one. It's obviously not the same one, but
it's an interesting point that you say though. If they are evolving more, if that's 100 years later, whatever, have their descendants have they become less simian? And they're kind of moving towards more human looks and more, how they looked in the original, like the Charlton Heston Planet of the Apes with the masks. Are they trying to get them more like that, where it's like a sort of like a human ape
like
hybrid kind of thing?
Dr. Zaius.
Yeah, well, I'm still surprised that we've yet to have a Dr. Zaius haircut that's popped up on one of these. It's been a while since I've seen the third one, but I'm almost positive that there isn't.
There might be like a little cheeky Easter egg one in there.
There might be like a kid that's called Zaius or something. I can't remember. But I would definitely recommend that at some point, especially with this one coming out this year, go back and watch Rise, War and Kingdom.
Well,
Rise. It's Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Planet of the Apes.
Kingdom
War of the Planet of the Apes. This is Kingdom.
This is Kingdom,
this
yeah.
new one.
Rise, War.
Are you going through the Tomb Raider games?
Could be. The Shadow of the Planet of the Apes.
Right.
The shit flinging of the Planet of the Apes.
Dawn.
Of course it is. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, yeah.
Thanks, Google.
Highly recommend that you go back and check them out.
Well,
if anything, just to kind of get you a little bit more
refresh
back on
myself.
Just to refresh, but also to kind of get you a bit more excited. Because if you go, well, I wasn't super keen on 3, then you're not in a rush to go and see 4. But if you watch 1, 2, and 3, and you go, this is a sick franchise at the moment.
I really like the first 2.
I don't remember anything bad about the third one at all.
Never got round to it for some reason. But I'm doing something. I'm going to delve into on this, Dan. I'm doing something this week, and I'm gonna watch Planet of the Apes. I know that was a very discombobulated sentence, but
you could have just said, "I'll do it this week." Then don't worry.
Yeah, no, because it was more of a thing where I go, I'm going to tell you what this thing is when I've done it.
Okay,
that's all it was.
Well, if we can try and get Planet of the Apes, all of the new Planet of the Apes, not the Mark Wahlberg one. No. no. We're not going to watch that one, but we'll watch all of the more recent Planet of the Apes,
the good ones.
Get a bit of hype going for Kingdom.
Yeah.
And also, as you mentioned, the trailer for Wicked also dropped as well.
Ariana Grande.
Yes, and I haven't seen Wicked at theatres, but it's a theatre show that has been going for about 163 years, I think it is. And the only reason that a show lasts as long as that is because it's real fucking good.
Because Ariana Grande's in it.
Sure.
Is this kind of like a different retelling, where the Wicked, the evil witch is the star rather than?
Yeah, I think it's I honestly, I don't know. Again, I haven't seen it, and the only kind of knowledge I've got of it is like an episode of South Park when they covered it a bit, but it's because Randy was making a musical that was all about giving subtext to get women to give blowjobs.
Fair enough.
It's really funny, actually. I definitely recommend it. But there's a bit in there, and I think it's like the origin story of the Wicked Witch. I think,
Yeah,
like how she becomes the Wicked Witch.
Tells the story of Elphaba, the future Wicked Witch of the West, and her relationship with Glinda, the Good Witch of the North.
Yes.
So is that Ariana Grande then? She the Good Witch? Do you reckon? Because I assume she was Dorothy or something.
No, she's late in her 30s now, man. Like Dorothy was like 16 or something.
I don't know. She doesn't look in her 30s, does she?
Yeah, that's very true.
Plus, if it's the origin story of the witch, it can't be Dorothy.
No. But there's also, from what South Park's told me, there's like absolutely banging songs in it. So I think that there's some really good songs that we're potentially going to get from this. But do you know, I don't remember seeing it, frankly, but did we see anything about where is it a movie thing? Is it a Disney thing? Is it like where's it going to be coming to?
I would assume
I wouldn't be going to the cinema to see it, frankly.
No,
but
definitely
I'd want
not.
to watch it when it pops up.
It will be on Disney Plus, obviously, because it's a Disney film. I assume.
It's based on the theatre.
No. But I could have sworn I saw the word Disney somewhere. Let me just double check. I could be massively wrong, then I've just got that in my head because it's a live action musical. I've just gone, that's Disney.
So I don't think the original was Disney, was it?
No, the original wouldn't have been. It's Universal Pictures.
Universal. Okay.
So who owns Universal?
Well, no one. Universal owns Universal, don't they?
NBC.
NBC,
which is a division of Comcast. They also own Illumination and DreamWorks and that, which I never knew that.
Right, okay. And well, what do they usually, like whenever there's a Despicable Me or a Gru thing or whatever?
Netflix.
Like, yeah,
but,
so potentially this might be a Netflix in a couple of years.
Yeah, like way later than that. So we'll have to go to the cinema or something to see it. I watched the trailer. Looks fine.
It does look good. Again, it's more just for like, I know that the stage shows have like, they've got such good reviews because it's so well done and the sets are so good and the songs are great, which is, again, that's why you pay to go to the theatre for like the experience of. And would you be able to capture that again in the movie version?
Maybe.
I suppose if me and you haven't seen the theatre one, we haven't really got anything to compare it to.
You might watch this and then go see the theatre one and go, I prefer the film.
I agree. Or you could go, oh my god, they didn't even come close to trying to capture the theatre magic of it.
Yeah. Could be a good film.
It could be good, but I don't think I've seen anything more in terms of trailers since the last podcast, Callum. But there is potentially some interesting news. There is an announced Microsoft/Xbox Phil Spencer, Sarah Bennett, something like that. I can't remember her name now. There's some sort of big business announcement that is due to take place this Thursday. So this is currently being recorded on Monday. Now, last week, Callum, we spent quite a bit of time talking about Xbox's potential and where we could see them going in the future. Are they going to step away from hardware? Are they going to focus more on like the streaming side of things like Game Pass? Are they looking at things like partnership, like more intense partnerships with things like Sony? Would you be able to get Game Pass on a Switch, on a PlayStation? What's that going to look like? The theory being, or at least the rumour mill as it churns out, is that kind of Game Pass future and their hardware future is what is due to be addressed in this conference on Thursday.
It's as good as what Spencer said last week, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. So if anything, because of what he said, I don't know if that's forced it necessarily, and I don't know if that was already part of the plan. Next week we'll be going into it in a bit more detail, but it wouldn't surprise me if people are, because they're to try and do some damage control, like they could be like, no, we're still going to make consoles because that's what we do. It's what we've been doing for like 20 years, so don't people get too crazy with that sort of thought. Or they could be like, let's head this off before it gets too crazy. No, we're not going to make any more consoles. Like,
could be anything.
We've got a good thing going with Game Pass. We've spent a lot on studios, and we'd rather spend the money on people rather than R&D and hardware and marketing and stuff like that. We'd rather make games for gamers and make it affordable. And instead of making our own consoles, instead we'll make it accessible to PC users and PlayStation users. And that way we can focus mainly on just making great games.
I did see a thing. This was after we did the podcast. But basically, the Kind of Funny team went into a bit more depth onto the potential of Game Pass on a PlayStation. more so than the Switch. But effectively, one of the reasons why it's unlikely to happen, and I never ever thought about this, but it's the licensing side of it for the publishers making the same game for PlayStation. So they've already paid the money up front to get it onto the PlayStation infrastructure. But then if you can get it via Game Pass, where they haven't provided any money to Sony from that public, it just gets a very messy situation. Yeah. Now, I think it makes more sense on a Switch, but using it as xCloud. Because, like the streaming one that you could do on your phone and stuff. Because in that instance, they're games that wouldn't ever be available on the Switch. So something like Gears of War or Microsoft's Flight Simulator, stuff like that.
Callum, no. Microsoft Flight Simulator will not be available on Switch.
That was what I'm saying is. But that's the point.
One of the most impressive feats of engineering that they've ever made. And you're like, yeah, the worst console, that can handle it, definitely.
Well, no, it's not handling it. That's what I'm saying. xCloud. Because it's not. It's a ridiculously outspec'd gaming PC that's doing it.
Okay, but then how do you play Microsoft Flight Simulator on a Switch controller?
The same way you can play it on an Xbox controller on your TV.
Oh, in the worst possible way is what you mean.
I didn't say it was the best way. I'm saying you can.
Absolutely not. They'd be fools. Like, at least with the PlayStation controller, there's more functionality in that than there is in a standard Xbox controller.
Not enough to say I'm going to play this instead of using a mouse and keyboard or full flight rig. But
no.
But they've got the same amount of buttons and controls on a Switch, on an Xbox, and on a PlayStation.
No, I wouldn't trust them to do anything. They can't even make the fucking Witcher, and that's 10 years old at this point.
But again, that's playing it natively on the console. xCloud, it's just streaming it to your Switch.
Yeah, but then it means that you would either have to make up a part of your Nintendo Online subscription price, or if you pay for Xbox Ultimate and you get it on xCloud on your phone, and then any supported device, and whatever they extend that to be.
Well, that'd be similar to the partnership.
But quite frankly, Callum, I would rather play it on my phone than my Switch.
I don't know, depending on what mood I'm in. I'd rather just play it on my Xbox or my PC, to be honest.
It wouldn't feel right, like a Switch controller, like trying to play fucking Gears on that.
Well, I don't know,
it would feel weird and gross.
It's no different than using a Razer Kishi for your phone. I mean, to be fair, this is like an Xbox one, so that was a bad example. But it's once you've got over it, it's the same as when you played Metal Gear Solid.
Are there bumper buttons on a Xbox on a Switch controller?
Of course there is.
Is there?
There's 2 on each.
Yeah, of course there is. Yeah. I'm trying to think. I was just like, I'm just thinking, like, you know, like when
the same layout.
The original Xbox had the 4 standard buttons, but then it also had the black and the white buttons as well.
Yeah.
Which meant that when you were emulating or when they were porting over games, yeah, of course. But when they were transferring or emulating those onto new things, it was just like, yeah, those buttons they don't exist anymore.
Well,
it's a D-pad thing now or something.
Yeah,
because there's no other option for it.
I think a lot of them were changed too, because back then you didn't have
it was like a lot of menu button and stuff.
I can't remember exactly which ones it was, but a lot of games didn't actually support L3 and R3, which is clicking in the analog sticks. So a lot of them would just utilise them. So the black button was left click, white was right, etc. But for me personally, it's no different than the first time I played Metal Gear on Xbox. Yeah, this is wrong and it should never happen in a million fucking gross. Years. But then, after like a month, you go, it's fine. And then the only reason I did that was because I got Ground Zeroes for the Xbox, because I got it sent for like a review copy. And then after playing it, I was like, I'm not buying it for PlayStation now because it was shit. Not shit, but it's not worth purchasing for something I already own.
Quid.
Yeah. But then when Metal Gear 5 did come out, I bought that for PS4. Because that's where it should be played, on a PlayStation.
It does. I know what you mean. Like, I mean, I've got Phantom Pain for the PC, but it's also because I didn't have a PS4 and I wasn't going to go buy a PS4. But it does still feel weird that like it's the PlayStation stupid gun loadout. So instead of it being the right triggers, your shoot button or whatever it is, it's like R1. So I'd switch all that around because it just feels stupid.
I suppose you would. Again, you'd get used to it the same way as you did for playing it on PC and stuff. And I think after that initial, oh fuck me, Ratchet and Clank's on Game Pass. After like 2 or 3 months, just go, oh yeah, I forgot Ratchet and Clank's on Game Pass. The same as you do with God of War's now on Steam, and Uncharted is available. And I think after the initial...
And Helldivers 2, I didn't even realise that was a PlayStation own until I was looking at it on the store and it was just like PlayStation Studios and I was like, fuck me.
I believe the first one didn't come out on PC. I don't think there's any story beats to pick up on, but I only noticed because Andy from Kind of Funny shared a clip of them playing it, and I thought they were playing it on PlayStation, and then the Steam overlay thing up. I was like, wait a fucking minute. And then I texted you, I was like, we got to get Helldivers.
I don't know if I'm buying it, mate. Like,
I'm not going to get it like today, but I'm definitely
someone else
get
messaged me about it. It was just like, oh, this looks cool, doesn't it? And I was like, yeah, but does it though? Like in terms of me buying it outright, does it look good to buy it?
I've seen it. Our good friend CD Keys have got it for £26.
That's a bit more reasonable, Callum.
Which I thought, and I was like, that's not bad at all, because it's still 70 quid on PS5. So
100%, yes. But I couldn't. I didn't really have a look at it too much, other than just like, oh, it's a fucking PlayStation one, no way. But I couldn't. I got the sense from the very quick trailer that I saw that it was like a Monster Hunter kind of, 4-person co-op sort of thing. And it's like, I don't really know. I don't know if I want to buy another game that's very similar to those kinds of things because they die off very quickly. If it was Killzone though, and they brought Killzone back and they brought that onto PC as well, yes, I would be buying that.
Did you ever play Shadowfall?
With Killzone. You, I did.
Yeah, to me, I love that game so much.
Killzone, like as a series, is fucking great, and I'm still kind of stunned as to why they haven't gone back or remastered it or something. Because I remember playing Killzone 3 on my 3D TV because that was 3D enabled, and it was just like you could just seeing like a bit around corners and stuff like that. It was just it's so good.
Like I remember because we had the same, not the same model, but our 3D TVs were the same, like family, like the LG.
It was like an LG, something or other. It's the same one I've got. I don't use it for anything. Like, it's in the living room.
I actually gave mine away last year because it was just in my room on the wall. I was like, I don't watch TV. TV broke, so I was like, John a tally. So my housemate uses it for like watching Netflix or whatever. Like it doesn't get used for its intended purpose. It's still
at all.
Like quality wise, it's still a real good fucking TV. But I remember playing on, I think it was Uncharted 3, and that was a 3D enabled game. And for the most part, it just gave you a headache. But every now and again, a bullet would just go, and you go, ooh. And you just go, I don't know if I blinked, if it was a fly, or if it was a bullet. Something happened anyway. That was a big fucking disappointment. But yeah, Killzone's real fucking good. And I know Shadowfall was a massive change and departure for the series, and it got a bit more futuristic and everything else, but it's a solid shooter. The only reason I can assume is you've got Medal of Honor was a solid shooter that just died on its arse with the current trend of Halo and Call of Duty and everything else, and potentially Sony have just gone, stick to the third person action adventures.
Yeah, because like how many other Sony like first person shooter games are there? Again, since the
what's
days
that one?
of...
It begins with R. Rebellion, Retribution. I can't remember this. There's another series.
Oh, I know the one you mean, but I think that's still from the Killzone era. Because I think I've got it. There was 2 of them.
Resistance,
like
Fall of Man.
That might be the one I'm thinking of. It's like an alien thing, but it's like in the Second World War or something.
Yeah.
What was it? Resistance.
Resistance. Yeah. 95%. Yeah, I remember this cover. with like the alien skull with the
that's 100% the one I was thinking of. But yeah, like I say, I'm pretty sure that is again from around the sort of the Killzone era.
Oh yeah, it definitely was. Yeah, but it's the only other Sony first-person shooter I can think of.
Yeah, there probably are a few. Frankly, I just can't remember. And again, I've moved away from the PlayStation stuff anyway, so it's not as if I'm going to be aware of everything. No. But again, it's nice to see another PlayStation game that's launching on PC at the same time as PlayStation. Is that the first time that's happened? Maybe. They dropped at the same time.
I think so. Could be mistaken on that. Yeah, I'm not too sure saying that.
Because everything else so far, they seem to be, it's God of War, it's Spider-Man, it's after the fact.
Yeah,
it depends on who made it, obviously, and whatever kind of licensing deal they've got. But if it's published by PlayStation, I
think it's just published by. I don't think they're a Sony studio.
Well, I'll find it for you.
I could be wrong there, but I'm fairly certain that's the. Made by Arrowhead Game Studios. No, they're independent. Swedish.
Oh, there you go.
So I assume Sony had some funding additions into it rather than any real hands-on stuff. But I never played Helldivers 1, so I don't know.
If they're the publishers, though, they would still get to dictate as to where it gets released to.
Yeah, but what I mean is they're more likely, because they've seen the success of the PlayStation titles launching on Steam, they're more likely to go, yeah, you can have this day one, but you're not having God of War day one.
Imagine if they release Helldivers 2 and they go, right, it's going to be released on PlayStation, it's going to be released on PC, same day, and PC outsells it.
Potentially. I mean, it's more likely to, like any...
Is that going to be people going, fuck, like, what if we started to shift these at the same time? Are we going to... Again, maybe not your tent poles, your God of Wars, your whatever.
It'll always just come down to the
why
price
would you bother getting a PlayStation? Because, you could save big bucks by just buying a PC and then get all the same exclusives for way cheaper.
You save it in the long run, but all it's more likely to do is just go Sony go, we need to drop this £70 price tag for these fucking
Hopefully
games.
That forces them in there.
That's all
so
it
again,
is.
People buying Helldivers for PlayStation for 70 quid. Or we get, well, PC, I could go on PC. I'll get it for 25 quid the same day.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
It'd be the same the other way around, though. If it was 70 quid on PC and £26 on PlayStation, they go, I ain't buying it. Man, fucking 70 quid.
No, absolutely not.
The 70 quid titles are the ones where you don't have a choice. So if you want to play God of War day one, Uncharted, Last of Us, all that stuff, if you want to play it day one, you've got to pay the price.
Well, does that mean that Helldivers 2 is... So I imagine that on Steam or whatever, it's like 40 quid or whatever.
I would assume so. I haven't actually checked. I just had a look on Friday and went, oh, how much is it on PC? CD Keys. CD Keys, if you go to our website, you can click a link.
On Steam, it's $34.99.
Yeah. But I'm pretty...
Which means that's cheaper than most normal day one releases on Steam, because that's usually $49 for your big dogs. Although very annoyingly, Callum, as you know that I like these sort of things, it says, notice, this game only supports Japanese interface / voice customers in Japan. Which means that you could talk to your people or whatever and give voice commands. But you can't do that unless you're doing the Japanese version.
I take it back, Dan. You can go to Argos and you can pay $29.99 for it on PlayStation 5. So This doesn't appear to be a £70 title.
At least they don't think it is.
Ironically, the most expensive one is from Green Man Gaming, which is £50.
Which is standard fare for your PlayStation.
No, that's PC.
Oh, wow.
That's what I'm saying. Ironically, out of this entire listing,
that's very unusual.
The two most expensive ones: Green Man Gaming $49.99, Steam Key digital game code, and £55.70 from G2A. Plus, 10 pence delivery for a digital item.
Is the Argos one a physical copy?
That's a physical copy.
Well, then who the fuck could buy that?
Why?
Who's got a disc tray?
There's 2 PlayStation 5s. A digital one and a
Oh, sorry, I
disc
thought
one.
you said the Argos one was the PC one.
No, you melon. PlayStation.
Right. Sorry, I thought you meant it was a PC. I was like, what? Who's
No,
got
I
a PC
was
that could run that that's got a disc drive in it?
I was saying it was like, of the assumption it was £70 on PlayStation, but it's not. It's like 30
The
quid.
cheaper version is... Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
But
again, if it's not one of their big names, then why would they slap 70 quid on it?
No, I mean, again...
Or, if it's some sort of higher level test to say, we'll release it on the same day, PlayStation and PS5, we'll release it for the same price point for both, and we'll see how they do.
On PlayStation and PS5.
PC, sorry. PlayStation 5, sorry. Do you know what I mean? And then they can go, well, it's about 50-50, so this PC market is something we probably should start moving into.
No, they're definitely going to be keeping an eye on how well the games are performing that they are releasing on PC. But for the majority of the sales, it's going to be the price. Because if they did release, again, I know we keep using it, but it's one of the more recent ones. If God of War is £70 on PC, you're not going to buy it.
No, but Final Fantasy VII, that was 50 quid for the longest time on PC. And the reason that I didn't buy it, even though I love Final Fantasy, was because I refused to pay like 60 quid or whatever it was, because I was like, absolutely fucking not.
But that's because you've gone from back in the day when £50 was the £70 of today's games for like PS3 and 360 games. You've had many years of PC gaming where you can just go, yeah, I'll pay 18p for a game. And once you've gone beyond that, it's hard to justify it. The only reason I justify but some of the games that I buy is because I've got a digital PS5 and I don't have a fucking choice. And that is just, again, that's just me. That's the one I got. So, but I did sit down and think about it before I hit go on buying it. I had to be very quickly because this was when you couldn't buy them. But I worked out the actual amount of first-party PlayStation games I buy in a year. It evens itself out. So if I'm paid a little bit more for the digital versions of what I would have bought a physical one of, it does even out. What I didn't take into account though, Dan, was Spider-Man and stuff coming out. So I've actually spent more than I would have done normally since I've had it.
Yeah.
Which is annoying, but...
And you could have just waited a little bit of time, and then you could have got it for half price on PC.
No, because then I've waited... Like, I've finished Spider-Man twice, and you haven't even played it yet.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't mean I'm going to enjoy it any less when it finally comes out.
No, but I want to play it when it's out.
I don't want to wait. Excited to play it.
I don't want to wait. No, and to be fair, the first one, I bought the first one again for PC, just because I thought it was.
Did you really?
Yeah, I didn't pay a lot for it, but the only reason I got it was because I thought, man, there's gonna be loads of cool mods and stuff, and you can kind of like jump in and maybe even have a new game. Yeah, it's barely any mods for it. Shit.
I mean, if it was Bethesda Spider-Man, then yeah, there'd be a billion of them by now.
No, there's a lot of character mods to make it fun, so you can play as like Stan Lee and stuff. But I was just like, man.
But again, did PlayStation really make games that support the modding community?
No, this was on PC, rather not.
No, but it was still made for the PlayStation though.
Oh yeah, on a PC.
What?
But what do you think the PlayStation is? It's just a PC.
Yeah, but
the same
when they're designing their games...
Oh no, yeah, they're not looking at it and going, I wonder if people are going to mod this when it goes to PC.
Yeah, well, how can we support people to mod this? Because that's what's going to mean longevity. It's going to be people who can mod this to the balls for the next 10 years.
When Super Mario Odyssey was announced, there was a gentleman who... I downloaded it as well, so it did work. There was a guy who modded Mario 64 to get Cappy in it. And you could...
Really?
And you can... I mean, there'll still be videos. I don't know if you can get it now. But it's like the actual N64 version of Mario. And you can get the cap and you can throw it and you can jump on it and get to higher places and stuff. And then you can capture it on a Goomba and walk around as a Goomba. And that's an N64 game. So people could mod Spider-Man.
Yeah, but I think it's also a lot easier to mod something that's 44 years old rather than something that was made 6 months ago by 1,000 people.
I mean, they've done it. It's just no. I wanted more. I only paid like 18 quid. So it wasn't
the older, the more susceptible it is to modification.
Yeah.
That like GTA 3, GTA 4, like they'll be the ones that are absolutely torn apart by modders. Or again, Bethesda games that are sort of like
broken
we've got
to
fucking
start with.
modders. They've got a modders workshop. Just come in and just fill your fucking boots.
Yeah, because it's free labour. They fix the games for them.
But it's not even just sort of like people just going, oh, well, you can delete all the grass out of this area because I don't like grass being there, so everyone else can take it out if they want to.
Yeah.
It's just like, here's like an entirely different set of missions. Here's a new map. Like, they're not asking them to do that. They're just saying, if that's what you want to go off and do, go for it. Because all you're doing is you're bringing more people to come back and play it.
But that's
buy our game.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. And like in Skyrim, there's they've added like Jawas and stuff to the world that you can go to get like specific like Star Wars missions and that. And it's again, I think it is easier to mod that kind of thing where it seems a little bit more open source than something like Tomb Raider or Uncharted or stuff like that.
There's just more fun aspects to it because it's a bit of an open world. It's not just you could do the same thing as you can play Rise of the Tomb Raider, but as the one of the bad guys.
Yeah, or
cool.
Play as original Lara.
But I'm pretty sure that's a skin in it.
Yeah, most likely, to be fair.
No, I think it is in Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I think one of the costume options is original 1994 Lara Croft. I'm sure it is.
I was just going to say play the Switch version, but. Anyway,
it's the Switch version.
We're going to cut it there. We're going to leave it there, Dan, because we've gone on. It's long enough, and the dog's got to bark any second now. So, if you want to see more, you can go to www.podcastversusplayer.com. It's all going along the bottom of the screen. Dan, thanks for joining me. Thanks for Deadpooling it up today. It's an earlier podcast than usual, but we've got other things to do, so we'll jump on them as well. Right. Bye.